Hey folks, this is gonna be my fourth video. I will upload tonight. Just upload them all. But going into the fifth day of easy mode, and one thing I had tonight. I was walking back home from the on-campus store where I got one of these, like a chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich, and a couple of slices of cheese pizza. I know it's junk food, and it kind of does relate to the whole PMO addict mentality, but I was thinking over some things, and I had sort of a realization, if you will. I hope the camera doesn't die before I get this out, but what I realized was another limiting belief I have that has caused me problems in my life. And it's been this belief that life is gonna suck, and that it has to suck because it's life. And if it didn't suck, it wouldn't be life. It would be some sort of paradise or something like that, And in some sense, there is some sort of like reality to that, but I feel like it's been carried to such an extreme in my life, and I see it in my family as well. It's one of the reasons I think why my mother's an alcoholic. My sister, has been addicted to nicotine for so many years, in one form or another. Well, they're both addicted to opiates, painkillers basically, or in the form of painkillers. My father's a smoking problem, numerous other health problems. It's this whole belief that life has to suck. And since life is gonna suck because it's life, you're gonna need something. Whether that's alcohol, nicotine, PMO, whatever it is that you're gonna need to have as your crutch, because life is just gonna suck and you're only able to hobble through life with the use of your little crutch. And that, I think, is probably one of if not the thing that lies at the root of so many of my problems in life. Why I've had so many romantic failures, or why I haven't handled rejection so well, or why I've been putting myself in situations where things are gonna go, south, and or like why I would reject, opportunities coming my way, whether that was in the form of a job, or internship, or whatever the case may be. Like, I felt that life was gonna have to suck, and I had to have my escape. I had to have my crutch, and that realization really did hit me. I was walking back and I just was thinking about that, because I was imagining myself having conversations with people about just problems in life, because I have friends, or I have associates, so to speak, classmates, and in the engineering program, especially something that's like a chemical engineering, it's such a small major that it's crammed in with biomedical and materials engineering in one department, and so inevitably you end up studying with people, in groups on a repeated basis, and that leads to friendships, which then leads to people, when they see you looking all depressed, sad, your head's down, you're just like, they ask what's wrong. And I was almost imagining, I was kind of, as I was walking along, I'm imagining myself having one of those conversations with some of these folks, because there's like one or two of them that I've trusted enough to be able to, reveal certain things, and it's like I was having that conversation in my head, and that's when I imagined them asking me questions, and why this, why that, and then that kind of came out, and I was like, well, I feel that there's been this belief in my family, and I grew up with it, that life is gonna suck, and you're gonna have to have your thing to deal with the suckiness. there's one thing I'm seeing that I really wanted to believe and wanted to have was that life doesn't have to suck. That those dreams you have can actually be real, and you don't need your crutch. You don't need to be an addict. You know, um, life doesn't have to go to hell in a handbasket. You know, at any point longer, you can keep on achieving, and you can be strong enough to not need all that. By trying to undo that belief and get rid of it is incredibly hard, in part because so many of the things in my life that are the way they are still there, and they're still there because of those beliefs, you know? So, like for instance, excuse me, I would have to either repair things with the girlfriend, stay with her, and then get married and have all those things actually work out the way I want them to work out, or B, I would have to somehow get that ideal girl. And if that ideal girl turned out to be that girl who I, sorry to say, rejected because of being in a relationship, at the time, going through a breakup, going through a severe bout of depression, things of that nature. And she came back to me and we went on a date, and then one date led to two, led to three, led to a relationship, you know, eventually 4 or 5, however many dates, you know, now we're in a relationship, and then that blossomed into marriage, and, you know, that sort of deal. That's kind of the stuff that I would have to do, you know, because success is thy proof, as it says in Liber Ale Villages, the Book of the Law, um, channeled through Aleister Crowley. You know, success is thy proof. If I succeed at those things, I will prove myself. I will prove my limiting beliefs to be false, and that will be liberating in and of itself. But it's like somehow I have to succeed at that. Somehow I have to, you know, get these homework assignments done, turn them in, study, get those exam scores back that are good, you know, A's and B's, that sort of deal. Excuse me. You know, or at the very least just not fail the class, move on to the next level, get through all that, and feel great about it. And then I would be able to go and say, you know, no, I can do this. You know, no, I can be happy. No, I can have all this other stuff. And of course, one of the sad things I think is that I'm going to have to find ways to be moving beyond my family, moving not just physically away from them, but even like mentally, emotionally away from them, because they have those same beliefs and they reinforce them by, you know, their presence, their actions, their words, and they're not willing to change. You see, I'm vlogging here. I've been vlogging my way through this Nofap journey. I've gotten, you know, 6.5 months hard mode, 8.5 months easy mode before relapsing, but I made that effort to try to learn about myself, learn why I do the things that I do, and how to change myself. And obviously I'm still going on this, but that's the primary difference between myself and my family. They're not willing to do that kind of stuff. It's too uncomfortable. The other way is easier. It's what they know. And there's a certain fear of the unknown, you know? And I know I'm afraid of it, but I've got to figure out these beliefs, break them down, demolish them, and replace them with better ones. Update my belief system, because otherwise, you know, it doesn't matter if I know the 10 steps to how to solve this problem, or how to get that job, or convince this girl to, you know, go on a date with me, or whatever, you know, flirt with her, talk to her, ask her out, all that kind of stuff. It's not going to matter if I know the mechanics of it if my belief isn't there. You know, that goes for that as it goes for magic, as it goes for anything. You know, Nofap. You can learn how to, you can know mechanistically how to do Nofap. You know, you don't fap, you don't watch pornography, you don't da 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 da, whatever your criterion are for I'm on Nofap. Easy mode, hard mode, whatever. You can know what that is. You can know, you know, things like the benefits of cold showers, you know. You can know the benefits of cardio and calisthenics and free weights and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to make a difference if you don't believe in it. If you believe that it's not going to work, you know. So, it's probably my biggest revelation so far. in terms of limiting beliefs. You know, and I really appreciate Off the Train's content and Alex's and 24/7's, Sunrise Warrior, a bunch of other folks along there, constant improvement videos, and I think one other thing I wanted to cover, hopefully got one bar left on the power, but there was a comment Con David left where he said that, you know, it seems like basically that relapse is inevitable, that's going to happen, and I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I think if you have an end goal or an end state where you will have access not only to sex, but you will also have figured out and resolved the issues, the problems, the pain that causes you to use PMO, that if you get to that point, then Nofap becomes life, or part of life. It becomes an aspect of life, and you know, PMO and relapse and that sort of deal is just no longer really something that has a high likelihood of occurring. It could be considered, practically speaking, impossible, you know? So, unless you have that, I think that, you know, that, yeah, it would become kind of impossible to not ever fap again. However, that being said, yeah, this is something that comes off of a video I saw where this guy talked about how, you know, you can end up fapping once in a while, and it's just like, you know, what you call inspiration fapping. You know, you just feel like doing it. And then there's the desperation fapping, which is where you're doing it to get away from all the bad things in your life. And so, you know, I think that, and this is like the difference between an addiction and just, you know, some action you do. If it gets to the point where you're using it to cope with pain in your life or bad things in your life, and you're doing it such that even with all the negative consequences, you're still doing it, then we're talking about an addiction. And then they're talking about a problem. And then we're talking about, you know, it's not like I just fap once in a while. It's like every day, 3 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever, you know, or every week, however many times, several times over, you know. Then it's like, okay, now we can talk about Nofap and why you should do Nofap, you know, as opposed to once in a while. And of course, I know in various religious traditions they consider fapping to be a sin, and you know, I understand that. In many ways, I agree with that. But in terms of practicality, if someone's doing it once in a while, I think considering it a sin, taking that sort of, oh, it's a sin, you know, a sinful approach can work, because it would be very easy for someone to, you know, go from being sinful in that regard to being virtuous. Whereas if it's an addiction, then you have to treat it in gradations or levels, you know. Going from being addicted to being not addicted to, okay, now I'm not doing it, period, 100%. Which I think is possible, but again, you know, it's a long-term process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's going to require the kind of self-work that, you know, is difficult, and not a lot of people are willing to do that, at least in my experience. So, anyways, that's my video, and something that I really realized, and I think it just kind of hit me because that's probably why it lies at the root of so many of these problems. And if I eliminated that, I think, you know, things should get better significantly. So, anywho, hope this video helped someone out there, and see you folks around. Bye.